Hi, my name is Edwin and this is episode 4 of Journey to the Top. Today we're gonna go over tech cards and playtesting. So today we're gonna be doing some playtesting with two different objectives. One, we wanna better learn the deck, and this includes combos, this also includes playing to interruptions and also interacting with the opponent, and also include being able to sequence our plays properly, knowing which cards we want to activate first and what combo lines we want to go for in which situations. The second part of this will be about finding out what cards we want to include in the deck. So we're going to separate the deck into the core pieces, the core elements of the deck, and also we're going to look into different tech cards and staples that the deck can utilize. And also, I also want to take a quick look into engines that the deck could use. So with all this in mind, let's go and look into the core of the deck and the tech cards that I have in mind before we do some playtest. So for the core of the deck, we have the following cards. We have 3 Elders, 3 Laras, and these two are going to be one half of the combos that we have. Elder plus Cannahawk and Elder plus Rampengo allows to make combos that are safe even through Nibiru. And Lara plus Cannahawk is the best combo in the deck, and Lara plus Rampengo is still a pretty good combo. Apart from that, we have Winda, Lara, Wen, and Apelio as engine requirements. And at the same time, Lara and Wen can work as extenders. And Winda works also as a floating card that allows to have some follow-up the next turn. As combo starters, we have Cannahawk and we have Rampengo. I will play a playset of both of these, as both of them are combo starters by themselves. And apart from this, we have Ritual Beast Bones, which is an engine requirement, but at the same time allows to dodge some negation effects. We have 2 Inheritance, which is a consistency card. In the pure version of Ritual Beast, I won't play less than 2, as you can use it to go ahead and get Lara in hand to get Elder in hand. Apart from that, we have Steeds, that I will play a 1 or 2 copies. And we have Shifter, which is basically mandatory. If you can play it, you have to play it, I would say. For the extra decks, we have 1 Apelio, which is basically an engine requirement. We have 2 ulti-cannahawk, that is the main card of the deck. 1 Guy Apelio that will definitely play because it allows you to play around Nibiru and around other negates as you perform your combo. We have 2 ulti-Kimu Falcon, 1 Raid Rautari, and we have 2 ulti Nochu Dragon. So this is what I consider the bare minimum that you can play, and the reason behind that is for what we mentioned before. The Elder and the Lara go ahead and are one half of the combos. Cannahawk and Rampengo are the 2 most important cards of the deck right now, I would say, apart from Lara, because they allow you to start the combo by itself. And you have these 4 engine requirements. And you have Bonds as an engine requirement, you have Inheritance for consistency, 1 Steeds that is a requirement, a defensive card that you can search, and you have 3 Shifters. Now this part of the deck, for the most part, if we're playing the pure version of Ritual Beast, is gonna remain the same. Some quantities of some cards, especially Inheritance and Steeds, might change, and also in the extra deck, we might play a tier Cannahawk. But for the most part, this is the core of what makes a Ritual Beast deck. Now let's go ahead and examine what cards we have as staples and take cards that we can put to complete our deck. Now this is quite a comprehensive list of tech cards that I created for the deck. I'm not gonna go into detail into all of them in this video, probably set that for a different video, but I do wanna mention some highlights. Most of the time, you will find out that you will need a second copy of Steed in the grind game, so that's important for that. Inheritance is very important to make sure you have Lara or Elder in hand. Elder allows you to play through more interruptions, and Lara allows you to make your combos better. And at the same time, it's one of the starters together with Cannahawk or Rampengo. So apart from that, we have these 2 allow you to extend your combos, and some other cards I want to mention here are Mercy Teleport. It's a really good extender for the deck, although it does consume your 1 normal summon, your special summon for the turn. We have a slew of hand traps, and apart from that, we have your 2 main cards to go in first. I notice macro is really good, the fissure is really good. They do hoard Lara a little bit, so you have to keep that in mind because you normally want to have Lara engraves with to go into Noshi, or you want to have two ritual beast monsters engraved to go into Noshi, so this does hoard that, so we gotta keep that in mind. Trolls has some unique applications in this deck because you have Steeds and you have other cards you can play, like Double Summon was played some time in the past in the deck, allow you to continue your combos. You have another Ritual Beast in hand, and you can also go for Goldstar if you want to play that instead. Apart from that, the only other cards I want to mention is that you have Super Poly here that I think is going to be, she has the spot for it in the extra deck. It's going to be a really important card in the format coming up, so it's a card we're going to consider. And apart from that, some Link ones can be very important in the deck, including Almirage these 3. One of these 3 is very likely to make it into the deck if you are making a pure version, because all of them are able to go ahead and be used with Lara, either or Lara, the OG Lara or the Spiritual Beast Lara. And this allows you to have that monster in the graveyard, and then you can go into Noshi Dragon. So it can be, you can leave monster in the field and go into Noshi, but this way you have an extra body. So that's something we want to consider. The other card here is Link Spider. And the importance of Link Spider is that Link Spider is key to allow you to play Turnibiru in the regular 2-card combos that you will have with Elder and Rapengo or Elder and Kanaha. The reason is because there is a small window right before you are able to insulate yourself from Nibiru, in which you make your 5th summon and you will have Kimo Falcon on board together with 2 other monsters. And at that moment, when you're gonna make Ulti Gayapeo, they can Nibiru you, and if Nibs comes down, you will still hold the ability at that moment to summon a monster from the hand, and I believe put another monster on board. So you will have 3 monsters. You can go into Kimo Falco. You will have you will meet requirements, but you will be 1 monster short, or you will be able to go into Ulti Reroutare, but the monsters for Ulti Reroutare needs to be effect monsters. So you will need to go ahead and convert the Nib token into a Link Spider before going ahead and being able to summon Ulti Reroutare. So that's an important card on that aspect. Apart from that, another card I want to mention here is Appaloosa. You often find after turn 1 that you need that extra card. You need that extra card to go to. You're able to put a bunch of bodies on board, but you don't have a strong monster in the extra deck because you go through a lot of the extra deck in your initial play if it goes through. Apart from that, we have 3 extra engines, and keep in mind that right now a big part of the new support is Ulti Noshi Dragon. I find that card is very important for the deck because you have Ulti Noshi Dragon in graveyard together with the new Lara. You're able to put 2 bodies on the field and start performing combos from there. So putting monsters in graveyards is actually quite beneficial now for the deck. So for that we have the Horus engine, in which it does 2 important things. You're able to discard from the hand, and at the same time you are able to go ahead and go into the Vampire rank 8 that allow you to mill 4 cards from your deck. We have Dangers, which similar to the Horus, allow you to discard cards from the hand, put bodies on the field, that while they cannot be used for fusion summoning, they can help you with summoning SP or IP depending on the situation. The last one here that I found the most interesting is the Runic engine, and I'm going to talk about this in another video coming up probably during this week. So now let me hover over the cards really quick, just so if you want to look into a card in particular and find the effect, you can go ahead and do so. With this in mind, I went ahead and I grabbed the list that we had beforehand. I made some changes to it, and I took it to do some play testing with it. So let's go into playtesting and let's look into the deck a little bit more while we are playtesting, so we find out how we're gonna learn better the deck and how we're gonna get the information we need to make the decisions about these cards. Alright, for this match we are going second against Pendulum. Now we're gonna go ahead and wait until we have our 6 card the draw. to go ahead and see what the opening hand is and what the ideal place will be. For now, the only relevant card is the Droll. That's gonna go into play very, very soon. So he goes for to down one of the dragons. This also search another one of the. This also search another one of the Supreme King cards into his hand. And at the moment we draw, and through all this, he's gonna go into a full pendulum combo here under draw. So this is the setup he ended up with. So our turn comes around and we draw Petelfin as the 6th card in our hand. Now the best line of play here, I believe, is to go ahead and normal summon Petelfin, use the effect to threaten the Baron, which is the only form of disruption that he has in the field. To go ahead and try to bounce the Baron to the hand, Baron will change her effect, destroying the Petelfin, and then we have the extra normal summon of Espilara in the hand. That way we send Espilara to the graveyard, go ahead and use Cannahawk effect. You go ahead and normal summon Cannahawk, you can use Cannahawk effect and go into a Cannahawk combo from there. So let's see how we do. So we correctly go ahead and summon the Petelfin and discard the Rampenguin hand, I believe. Now one mistake we do here that we don't get is that the Rampenguin in the grave should actually be banished, because Petelfin has the effect to banish one from the hand to bounce something on the field. So Rampenguin should actually be banished. So I go and right after I go ahead and I use Lara effect to go ahead and summon Cannahawk. Now again, a small mistake here is to put a Cannahawk in one of the columns that can be used with Anima. I'm not sure if this deck uses Anima, but you normally want to try to use one of the 2 columns closer to the extra deck and the graveyard, or the middle column because of that. So we go ahead and use Cannahawk effect, and one important thing here that is to remember when you're playing is that Cannahawk cannot be Ash, because Ash cannot stop effects that vanish from the deck, and Cannahawk does not send to the graveyard. So Rampengu can be Ash, but Cannahawk cannot, just something to keep in mind. Now something that can be Ash is the effect of Lara to go ahead and special summon from the deck, and that's exactly what happened. Now here's another interesting point. So I have currently having a special summon a single Ritual Beast monster. Now the only way I can continue playing is by banishing 2 Ritual Beasts from my graveyard to go ahead and special summon Ulti-Nochi. And Ulti-Nochi should bring something back, and then we can keep playing. Interesting situation here that it's not exactly this case is that what you want to keep in mind is that if you're having a special summon SB Lara and she's banished, you can defuse and use both of the SB Laras as the defuse materials, because SB Lara is a spiritual beast tamer. So she will count as the spiritual beast and as the tamer. And since she can only be summoned once per turn, you can summon multiple copies at the same time. Is how the text is labeled on the card. So that's something to keep in mind. Now summon Ulti-Nochi, and the only way I can keep playing here is to go ahead and use Ulti-Nochi effect to bring Lara back. Go ahead and do that, and I am fusing now into ulti-cannahawk. Now for the Cannahawk, it has no way to defuse, so I believe here is just an Steed search. And that's basically gonna end our turn, because we don't have any other way to extend our combos. I don't feel I could have done anything more optimal. I feel this was probably the only route we had that has a defuse on his turn. We have a lot of protection in the graveyard to try to survive the turn, Rampenguin hand for the next turn as follow-up. I will go ahead and find the moment to defuse for Cannahawk and SP Lara. I believe this is in response of Baron effect to pop. In my turn, I will draw a Steed as the draw phase. Now, one thing I want to notice here is to keep in mind is that I draw a Steed, and is at least in this scenario, it's a dead card in hand. So it's something we have to keep in mind. If this happens too often, it might be that we need to cut a Steed to only one copy. So let's keep playing. Normal Rampengo is response by Appaloosa effect. Now we go battle phase, hit over Appaloosa. And we again banish 2 for Ultinoshi. Use Lara effect to special summon from the deck. I believe I end up bringing out Lara. Lara Rampengo with Fuse. Now Lara has been a special summon here. And apart from that, I believe no other monster has been a special summon. As Rampengo start in the field in the turn. The turn in the field, sorry. Grenade Lara, Cannahawk, send Lara. The only card that has been special summon again. Aldin went to the hand. Now when is very important here because when provided with a follow-up, another way to put a monster on the field. Go ahead and use Cannahawk effect, banish Apelio. Go ahead and go into Kimur Falcon. Now with Apelio banish, we do have a target for when. Banish Petelfin, which hasn't been a special summon either. So now we have 2 diffuses here. Sorry, we have 3 diffuses since we have Rampengo in the field. And something important to notice here is now that we have Rampengo in the field and we are playing Petelfin, since we're playing Petelfin as Zephyrapilica, our grinding is gonna be a little bit better, but our opening hands are gonna be a little bit worse. So something we wanna keep track of for consistency. If we notice that a lot of the games are lost because we don't have a good opening hand, because we draw Petelfin and we draw Zephyrapilica, it might be a good calculation to try to code it to slim down the deck a little bit. Now Rampengo, we go ahead and send Winda here. Again, Zephyrapilica is still in the deck, so something we can consider for the future. Go ahead and fuse, Cannahawk again, defuse, bring this time Apelio, and I believe I search Bond here. Now Bond provide us with an additional attack, but we still don't have a good way to get over the Baron and also deal the damage. Now Apelio is gonna go ahead and banish Winda, yet another monster that we haven't special summon yet. We go ahead and fuse one more time. Go ahead and defuse, bringing back Petelfin and bringing back the Winda. Now, interestingly enough, here we actually have gain on board if the Petelfin goes through. So we search for something. I really like how I actually navigated this place here at the end. We add Elder to the hand. Elder hadn't been a special summon, by the way. Now here, I believe I would have gained is Petelfin effect goes through. So I should have probably, it's just doing this play right now. I should have probably used Petelfin effect, discarding the Elder in hand, and go ahead and try to go ahead and hit for game with Kimur Falco powering the. And remember, everything has plus 500 because of Apelio effect. So it will be 29 on the Ultinoshi, it will be Kimur Falco will be at 21. And the other fusion that we summon, in this case probably Ulti-Guy Apelio will be 26, together with the bond into ulti-cannahawk will be plus 19, so that will be gain if we go for a route. So yeah, a little of a misplay here. I end up going for Ulti-Nocio Dragon, which is gonna go ahead and summon the Elder, and we didn't realize that the which is gonna go ahead and add to the hand the Apelio, and we go ahead and has the Elder in hand array to normal summon twice. Go ahead and just go into Cannahawk again, and I don't have any other good search to add, so probably go ahead and add Zephyrapilica in hand. Go ahead and banish Zephyrapilica to bounce. But now we don't have a gain on board anymore. So important to keep in mind, just a mental note for us to make, is we have start counting, you know, once you are gonna add a bonds in hand, you might have get on board already. So, and the rest of the game, we basically make Lars here, I believe, and the game is still one more turn goes through, but there is not much that Bagusta can go through, and we finish the game. So a couple of things to correct and to keep in mind for the next time. So today we did some playtesting and went over the core, tech cards and staples for the deck. With this in mind, now we have a good base to learn the deck. We're able to test online with simulators, and we're able to do playtesting with friends before the cards are released. But a Yu-Gi-Oh player is testing in competition, and if we want to top a regional, we have to be able to perform in a competitive environment. So next section, we're gonna go back to locals and get back in competitive shape. Thank you for watching Journey to the Top. See you next time.